Welcome to our channel. Today we're excited to share with you 3 haunting tales from Alabama. As the sun sets in Birmingham, Alabama, it's often accompanied by a chill in the air. But it's not just the cooling autumn evening causing it. The history of this town carries many secrets, one being the tale of Sloss furnaces. Sloss furnaces was the city's beating heart for nearly a century, producing the steel that built America just after the Industrial Revolution. However, maintaining the high production of these furnaces came at a grim and terrible cost. I'm here to tell you the story of James Slag Wormwood, the foreman of the graveyard shift at Sloss furnaces. In the early 1900s, temperatures in this industrial plant would reach well over 120 degrees during the summer, making it a living hell for the workers. Many were poverty-stricken immigrants, desperate for any employment they could find. And Slag Wormwood took advantage of their desperation, pushing them to take dangerous risks to increase production. Under Wormwood's supervision, some 47 workers lost their lives, 10 times more than any other operating foreman in the furnace's history. Countless others were injured or permanently disabled. There was no respite for these workers, no breaks nor holidays. Instead, they were bona fide slaves to the furnace and its incessant appetite for more and more coal. But Slag Wormwood's reign of terror was not to last. In October 1906, he fell into a pool of melted iron ore, ending in his inevitable demise. Some said he became dizzy from the methane gas and lost his balance, but others whispered that the workers had finally had enough of his abuse and fed him to the furnace themselves. As a result, no one was ever brought to trial for his death. After Wormwood's demise, the legend of Slag grew. First, workers reported feeling an unnatural presence throughout the plant. Some even claimed to have been pushed or attacked by an unseen force. Then, in 1947, 3 supervisors went missing and were later found unconscious in a boiler room with no explanation for what had happened to them. But the most horrifying tale occurred the night before the plant closed in 1971. The night watchman, Samuel Blumenthal, was taking one last look around when he came face to face with a half-man, half-demon who tried to push him down the stairs. When Blumenthal refused, the monster attacked him with its ghastly fists, covering his entire face and body with insufferable third-degree burns. He died shortly after, never again returning to his post at Sloss furnaces. This encounter with the ghost of Slag Wormwood was just one of many reported at the site. Over the years, more than 100 incidents of suspected paranormal activity have been recorded in the Birmingham police records. From minor occurrences like steam whistles blowing by themselves to unexplainable sightings and physical assaults, the ghosts of Sloss furnaces continue to haunt the site to this day. But despite the dangers, tourists and locals alike are still drawn to the sheer beauty of Sloss furnaces. Some people visit the plant to learn about its history, others to seek out the ghosts for themselves. Deeply etched into the history of Birmingham, Alabama, the stories of Slag Wormwood, Samuel Blumenthal, and the many other unfortunate souls of Sloss furnaces will never be forgotten. In the heart of Alabama lies a playground like no other. Nestled among the trees of Huntsville's Maple Hill Cemetery, there is a small playground that has gained a reputation for being haunted. Known locally as the Dead Children's Playground, if you visit this playground late at night, it is said that you will see the spirits of children buried here, playing together. Established in 1822, Maple Hill Cemetery is the oldest and largest cemetery in Alabama. Covering over 100 acres, it is the final resting place for more than 80,000 people. Some say that number could be as high as 100,000. During the Civil War, nearly 200 Confederate soldiers were buried here, along with many Union soldiers. This infamous playground lies tucked away in a secluded corner of the cemetery. At first glance, the playground is seemingly ordinary, featuring a swing set and a model jungle gym. However, this playground happens to be surrounded by boulders and trees on multiple sides, giving it a claustrophobic and eerie atmosphere. According to local legend, the spirits of children buried in this cemetery are said to be highly active between the late hours of 10 at night and 3 in the morning. People who have visited the playground have reported seeing the swings moving on their own, in addition to actual apparitions of children playing in the area. Others have reported hearing the sounds of laughter in passing, as well as children's voices calling out from a distance. Some have even discovered orbs of light appearing in their photos taken at this playground. This playground's haunted reputation can be traced back to the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic, which hit Huntsville particularly hard. Many people, including children, died during the pandemic, and thousands of bodies were stacked on wagons and hauled to morgues by horses. Most of the infected were treated at home, with quarantine signs placed on the doors of their households. In response to the outbreak, the governor of Alabama ordered the closure of all public places, including schools, churches, and stores. It is said that only one pharmacist and one doctor remained uninfected, leaving the city in an indeed desperate situation. Although there is no official record of the number of children who died in Huntsville during the pandemic, it is believed that many were buried in Maple Hill Cemetery. The Dead Children's Playground has attracted paranormal investigators from around the country and continues to draw visitors due to its haunted reputation. It remains an essential part of Huntsville's history and a reminder of the impact of the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. Crybaby Bridge lies at an intersection of Oak Grove Road in Saraland, Alabama. It is said that many years ago, during a time of war, a young mother fled from the nearby Oak Grove plantation with her baby in tow. The baby cried incessantly, and the mother was desperate to find a place to hide. As she ran, her baby's cries echoed through the fields and forests, alerting her pursuers to her presence. She knew she had to find a safe place to hide quickly. She spotted the bridge up ahead, and with no other options, she ran towards it. Spanning a small creek, the bridge provided the perfect hiding spot for the mother and her baby. She slipped underneath the bridge and cradled her crying child, but the baby would not stop crying, and the mother knew she had to do something to silence it. In desperation, she pressed the baby's face down into the water, drowning it to keep it quiet. Finally, the baby's cries were silenced, but the mother's guilt and regret lingered. It is said that to this day, the baby's cries can still be heard from the bridge. Many people have reported hearing the baby's cries while walking or driving over the bridge. Some say the cries sound like a newborn infant, while others claim to experience a cacophony of screams imitating multiple tortured souls. Regardless of the exact sound, it is clear that something otherworldly haunts Crybaby Bridge. Those brave enough to visit the bridge at night claim to see a ghostly figure hovering near the water, a sad and tortured spirit unable to find peace. Others say they have felt a sense of impending doom while on the bridge, as if the souls of the dead are warning them to turn back. Despite the numerous reports of paranormal activity at Crybaby Bridge, skeptics still claim it is just an urban legend. But for those who have experienced the eerie cries and terrifying apparitions, there is no doubt that something otherworldly haunts this bridge. Many people have tried to explain the haunting, claiming that the cries are just the wind or the sounds of animals in the nearby woods. But those who have heard the cries up close know that they are too human-like to be anything natural. Some have even tried to investigate the bridge themselves, but they are often met with dread and fear that drives them away. The legend of the Crybaby Bridge has become a famous story in Saraland, and many people visit the bridge in hopes of experiencing something supernatural. And so, those who dare venture onto the bridge at night should expect a genuinely frightening experience. If you ever find yourself near the Crybaby Bridge, heed the warnings and avoid venturing onto the bridge at night, or you may come face to face with the tortured spirit of a mother and her drowned baby. condemned to haunt the bridge for eternity.